Go ahead and fill me in on, I believe it's Jack, right?
Jack, yep.
Cool. So go ahead and fill me in on Jack. I saw you were wanting kind of the pretty much the basics, obedience wise, off leash safety, coming when called, staying, leash pulling, indoor potty issues, and living in a high rise. So go ahead and fill me in more details about everything or the reasons you're reaching out to perspective.
Okay, yeah, and if you can't see me, I'm sorry. My kids are screaming in there. They just got done with bath time, so my wife's putting them all to bed. So I came outside. There's not a lot of light out here, but no, man. I mean, honestly, it's the main reason is I need boarding because we are going to be gone for 2 weeks. But I've also been wanting to get some basic training just because we've got 3 young children. We got them a puppy for Christmas. I had an Akita growing up. A Shiba Inu feels like similar like temperament in that like he just seems very independent, and that's what I love about him. I didn't want a dog that was super high energy that needed a lot of attention, if you will. Like he like loves to go off and do his own thing, but that's been a problem for walks because he's just not really interested in the treats that I have. So he did escape when he was on a walk with my wife. He slipped out of his harness and he ran off, and she was with our daughter, so she couldn't chase him because our daughter was only 2. So she had to come back up and get me, and he was like 6 blocks on Michigan Lakeshore Drive, Inner Lakeshore Drive, because you live on Lakeshore Drive there. So it was Inner Lakeshore Drive, no collar, because he slipped out of his harness. So I just went running up, hoping I'd find him, and there was someone that was holding him, but he had run in front of a car that was pulling to a stop. And thank God no tires hit him or anything like that, but we did take him to the vet. He had to get stitches in his jaw, and he had a little patch of road rash that he healed up, but we did x-rays. We got very lucky. But that was kind of like the issue there is more that I have a consistent flow with when I take him for a walk, and my wife and I, because we're dealing with kids too. So I guess what we're realizing, we just need some help with some consistency and some guidance because of time constraints on our end. And then we want to be able to follow those diligently together. So that's the main thing, is for his safety. I would like him to be able to stay and come, and I would like to work towards him being off leash, in that he's so used to whatever procedure you help us with that he, even if there's a squirrel or whatever, he's looking back to us like, wait, should I do this? I want it to be so ingrained in him that his first thought is looking to us versus darting off. Now, I will say he's a little car shy now, obviously, because he got hit by a car. Not in a way where he has like PTSD where he won't walk, but he knows that they do. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but like he's very aware now when we're crossing the street. You can see he's stays very close to my legs, and he's like looking around very anxiously. When a car makes a loud noise, he jumps. So he's very aware, which I kind of have thought is a good thing, just because, we lucked out and he didn't get significantly hurt, and now he knows what they do. So, and he's doing great. Like right now we're at an Airbnb in Nashville. He goes outside every time. He hasn't had one accident. It's just that like with our schedules, we can't walk him more than 2 times a day. And so obviously we have like I have like that sod, like the doggy lawn sod. And he just isn't consistently going on that. He may go somewhere else in the house. And so I just want thoughts around that, like high rise style. Like he never goes poop in the house. He's potty trained there, but he'll definitely once in a while go pee inside. And I wanted to figure out that. So man, that's it. Just since we have to board him anyways for 2 weeks, I thought we would get most of the safety stuff taken care of.
Mhm.
Um, so
Cool. Anything else?
that's it.
Cool. So sounds pretty, pretty basic stuff. The obedience and everything, but yeah, it usually only takes like, it only takes one time to realize, okay, something's gonna change. It only takes that one time if your dog gets out of the leash or harness or whatever tool you're using to realize, so looks like you're wanting to work towards that off leash life and everything. Um, so the 2 weeks you would be leaving would be worth, working towards that for sure if you wanted to make that a board and train for him, which is really good. But before that, do you know how the training methods we use and everything, and like the tools we use, like and you've done your research on us, or are you aware of what we use and everything?
I don't know anything, man. I've called a few places and they were just not available for the dates that I needed. So I just was like, for me, like I said, right, the reason for the timing now, the priority is because we already have people watching our children for our 2 weeks away. Um, so I just didn't want to have someone else try to watch our dog. And so I just I just figure, I mean, your reviews were good. I just figure your methods. So I would love to hear them, but I'm not particular. There's not something I'm married to. I mean, I'd love to hear it. You can tell me what you do, and then I'll reinforce it.
Sure. So we're mostly e-collar, prong collar trainers. As soon as the puppies hit 6 months, they're on big boy training, which is e-collar. E-collar gets us closest to 90 to 100% of reliable obedience. So it goes, as you're raising a puppy, you'd go gentle leader, right? Gentle leader gives you the control because if you control the head, you control the body. So like it stops the puppies from eating stuff off the ground. If they want to pull, it's easy to just like pull them back because you're controlling the head. So if they pull, they just go like that, right? So gentle leader is the one that goes around the nose and then on the back of the neck. Then it moves on to prong collar. Prong collar is the spiky collar that's is supposed to mimic a dog bite, right? So when you pull on it, it's supposed to close like a bite, and then if you pop it, it's a quick pop to correct the dog, right? Gentle leader, you can't correct your puppy or dog since there's no way to do that. Prong collar, you can. So you can get maybe 50, 60% of reliable obedience, but once you take that leash off, or let's say the prong collar falls apart, then there's no way to communicate to your dog that you lost control, right? So then we move on to e-collar. E-collar can get us control whether the leash is on or off. If uh, you know if Jack escapes the harness or not harness, let's say the flat collar, again, you're able to communicate to him as an emergency, situation. I have this tool. I'm going to use it now to bring him back to me, so we don't end up, chasing him on Lakeshore Drive again, right? So, e-collar is, viewed as like a shock collar, right? Shock collars, like the old term for it, old school term for it. Shock collars are electric and they shoot electricity through whatever it's touching, right? The e-collars we like to put it as electric, but not electricity. So have you ever been to a physical therapist?
Yeah.
Have you ever had like the TENS unit where they put a patch on you, like it moves the muscle?
No.
So they have like a thing where like they move torn muscle. So it's a muscle contractor and like massages an area or like shoulder or whatever you're putting it on, right? That same technology physical therapists use on humans is the same technology that's used on our e-collars. So it's a muscle contractor. Our box has like two contact points, right? Two contact points are on your dog's neck, so it's not. So as you keep going higher up on the button on the numbers or whatever, you'll start to see maybe the shoulder twitch or like the neck twitch, right? But then Jack's not going to care. So we need to go a little higher to catch Jack's attention. So, like I said, it doesn't go through the body. It's just whatever the two contact points are touching on the dog that is affecting. So if I had it in my hand and I'm going, I need to know our collars have 127 levels, right? The old school shock collars or the cheaper e-collars have like 10 or 5 or sometimes 20. Think of 10, the power outage of 10 equal to 127 on our brand, right? So we can have 117 more breaks to be more specific to the dog's personality, breed, size, situation we're dealing with, or whatever. We can fine tune it, right? So let's say I'm finding my number as I go higher. You'll start to see my thumb like just twitch like that, right? As I go higher, does it get uncomfortable? Yes. Um, what else? What else? What else? Any questions so far?
No, nope. I mean, so it sounds like a probably quicker method for training and a very effective one. I'm guessing that's the benefit of the e-collar, I'm guessing.
Yes, because it's physical. It's physical, so that they're feeling it, right?
Right.
Jack doesn't know you're pressing a button, right? But we need to make his response to, because sometimes when dogs feel this foreign feeling, right? The first thing they want to do is either shut down or run away. So there's certain exercises we teach Jack to make him, when you feel this, you need to come to us, not run away, right? So it's physical, it's physicality. Dogs thrive on physicality and consequence. So, you know, if you're at the dog park and let's say Jack's minding his own business, a dog starts mounting him right from the rear. Jack, if he doesn't like it, will let him know. And how do you think dogs let each other know what they don't like or if they're uncomfortable?
They nip at him.
Correct. So there's consequence to that. They deal with they handle their situations through the mouth, through consequence. So the reason why we get such quick responses and quick it's just quicker progress is because it's physical, it's their language. Is it uncomfortable? Yes, and they're able to, okay, this is not the right answer, because we're giving consequence for certain behaviors. So once they get to that process or that they see the way it works, because we have to teach Jack that he's the one in control of it. He's the one that turns it on. He's the one that turns it off. So once they grab that idea and concept, they're able to kind of get the idea faster, and then that's where we see like oh, by second class, your dog's like walking like by yourself.
Okay. So does he wear? So when I get him back from you, will he be wearing that?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Here, hold on. Can you hear me? Am I back?
Oh, there you go.
I guess I don't have service in the house. Hey, Caitlin, I keep trying to fill these water bottles. I don't have service in the house. I keep losing Enrique. Deal. Will Jack then wear this collar? Is that what he's going to wear permanently for my training when I take him back then?
Yeah, so common question clients have is will he be wearing the collar on forever? It's like a yes and a no. If you're gonna go for a walk, it'd be on, right? Because we can't predict what's gonna happen on this walk. So let's say we're walking like a car crash. Let's say a car crash happens right next to you, and this is after the program. This is after he's finished, after you've done your homework. This is after like, wow, he's really good. Car crash happens. He freaks out. He's going to flight mode. Let's say the collar, or he slips out the collar. When dogs are in flight mode, they're literally thinking kill or be killed, right? So they're not going to listen to, hey, Jack, come, You have to have something to override that flight mode mindset to be able to bring it back to you. Or if a firework goes off, or like, if an off-leash dog approaches him and you think it's a tense situation, you have that e-collar to handle it, right? So Are you going to be pressing that button forever? Nope, it's going to be on there just for emergencies so that you have that off-leash control if you were to get off-leash, right? Our recall is not recall if it's not off-leash trained, right? It's pointless if the recall is good on the leash, but if it's off-leash and it's not good, then what's the point of recall, right? So on walks, it'd be on. But then let's say in the home, he's an angel, he's perfect, right? Then he doesn't need to wear it in the home. Let's
Okay.
say you're gonna have guests come over, right? And in the beginning, you know that Jack is gonna be very jumpy. So 30 minutes prior to the guests arriving, you collar him up, address whatever that needs to be addressed when you arrive. And then if you find that he's relaxed throughout the rest of the night and you don't need the collar, then you're able to take it off. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, I mean, will he never learn to come based on command? Is that not a thing you guys do? So, like, for example, when I'm just at home, say, come, I end up using. Is that not a thing that he learns?
So it is. It's just for emergencies that Jack is not going to listen to anything because when they're in flight mode, they're thinking kill or be killed. But if he's just off leash and he's like, passive and just hanging out, then the come when called should work and will work if you're practicing and doing the homework and everything like that. Does that make sense? Hello?
Yeah, and will you work on both with him?
What do you
I'm
mean?
here. I'm here. I don't have great service. Yeah, I only have 2 bars here. Will you work on both come for command and come with the collar?
So the come command is with the collar. Everything we teach for his, let's say he came for the board and training program. Everything we teach is e-collar. Um, uh, so if the way we teach it is creating the foundation for everything, we shape behavior, then we label them so that a word is associated with the behavior that we're teaching. Does that make sense? So we
Yeah.
everything,
Okay.
right? If we were to teach them common call through food, and then like if one day, and then we're like, all right, let's do e-collar. Let's say we did, hey Jack, come, and he didn't come, and then we hit him with the e-collar. He's not going to know that e-collar means come because he was never taught to come with e-collar because we never shaped the behavior.
All right.
Hello?
So if we're shaping, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me? I'm here. Hello. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it's easier for you, we could do a cell phone call. I don't have great service, and I think Zoom is just taking more bandwidth. I only have 1 bar, and I don't know why it's the case. But can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So if we're teaching him come with the e-collar, then he's learning when I say come, he'll eventually know and associate that command with e-collar, and he should use it in any non-stress related times pretty regularly. What you're saying, in a potential stress related time, such as an emergency situation on a walk, it's a great thing to have that as a backup for his own safety, because in a fight or flight mindset, if I say come, he's not going to be focused on that, but the the triggering of the e-collar could be what is needed to jolt him or remind him to come to me versus towards a car or towards whatever else.
Exactly. So the e-collar is there to make the command happen versus with food. Let's say you're teaching common called food, right? The worst thing that happens if he doesn't come is he doesn't get the food. And it's like he's like looking at the squirrel and he's right? He's looking at the squirrel. They're like, Jack, come, and you have your little ham or whatever. He's looking at the ham, he's looking at the squirrel, he's like, I can get that ham later, I can't get the squirrel later. So I'm gonna go for the squirrel, right? Versus having the e-collar, if he's gonna be making that decision himself, we correct that and make him know you're gonna come when called and you're gonna do it when I say it. No repeats, no nothing. It's just come and called, end of story. Does that make sense?
Sure, makes sense. And so that'll kind of be my discretion how I want to fashion this and use the e-collar. Basically, like my goal would be like in the home and in people's backyards or whatever, no e-collar. That's my goal. But because he's a Shiba, in public places with walks and things like that, I think it'll be just for his own safety to keep it on, probably for a couple of years to come, is my mindset. But I would like it to be, yeah. So that's cool. So I'm getting it. So the e-collar helps teach the commands. And then as far as, so that that's on in addition to a harness. So as far as walking a Shiba, do you recommend a harness or do you recommend a collar for the leash?
So we recommend collars. Harnesses.
Okay.
Harnesses promote pulling. So Huskies wear harnesses. When we're doing protection training, we put the dog on a harness to create aggression. So harnesses, so dogs have what it's called is opposition reflex. So if you pull them back, they pull forward. If you pull left, they pull right. If you pull right, they pull left, right? So it's like the movie scene, or it's the situation at the bar, right? Let's say there's a couple of guys getting into it. I want to get into a fight. You want to address the guy, then you got these guys holding you back. It makes you want to go more. It makes you want to push more if someone's holding you back. So it's the same thing right there. So since we're trying to address him, or we're trying to teach him to not pull on the leash, having the harness on is kind of fighting, right? We're not making sense because we're telling him to not pull, but then the harness is telling him to pull, so it's a little confusing for him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
So we want to either, if there's nothing wrong with using a prong collar as well, but if you want to use a flat collar, that would be your best bet, not not using the harness. Yeah.
And the flat collar would have the e collar with it. Is that what you're saying?
So you want to go purchase the flat collar and then having the e collar as well on. The e collar has like the collar, and there's the box on it, and it also has a loop for a leash, right? But you're not going to want to attach your leash to the e collar because then you're going to be moving the box around, and he might get abrasions from it because there's two contact points moving back and forth, and also it's going to mess up with your contact, like finding the number or the level that he's going to be used to, right? It's going to be changing. Let's say his number's a 20 out of 127, and then you're like, oh, it's not 20 today, it's probably like 50, right? You're going for your walk and you're attached to it, and then you find that it's moving. You give him a tap, and you're like, right? Because you got better contact, and now you're back to 20. So it's going to be inconsistent there. So we like to keep it separate, flat collar, and then e-collar. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, well, I'll just trust you on that. I've been having some success with him with the harness, but I've been looping it in the front. There's a spot in the front which promoted less pulling, and I've just been carrying treats with me, and it's been pretty consistent where every time he starts pulling, I stop like a tree and I say, he stops. I've been giving him treats, and now even if I don't consistently give treats, if I kind of give a slight tug and I say, he'll stop pulling and he'll walk by my side for a good stretch. But you're the pro, so you do what you want to do, and then I'll just follow whatever success you find. The pulling is, I feel like that's the one thing I've had some success with in the last. It's mostly like, I feel like he's a flight risk.
Mm-hmm.
That's my main concern.
Mm-hmm.
Even the potty stuff is like, I think, on its way to success. It's mostly stay and come, and then trusting him if he were to get off leash, to like return to us, that kind of thing. Those are the big ones. Those are the big ones.
Yeah. So how our program kind of works is we need to teach him how e-collar works, that he's in control of it. So like one of the most important command for us into teach him is like the walking command. So our version of loose leash walking and pulling is, if I take 5 steps, he takes 5 steps. If I take 10, he takes 10. If I come to a stop, he's to automatically sit. All done with the slack leash. His right shoulder glued to your left hip in any environment. We don't care what's going around. We can be in the middle of Oz Park where there's, you know, dogs running around, bikes, kids screaming, baseball games going on, and it is expected to have that level of focus on us on these walks, right? So as we teach that, it's teaching him how to turn it off and how it turns on. And then we can teach other commands because our program goes to the heel, stay, place, which means go to your bed, don't move, or don't hop off, down, sit, and then come when called. So by the end of his program, he would have the foundation of all of those commands. After the program, we have what's called follow-up. So you get, if you do the 2-week order training, you get 4 hours of follow-up time where we spend with you, transferring everything over to you. So a lot of issues trainers or clients will have with other trainers is like, you know, oh, my dog listens when the trainer's here, but once the trainer leaves, my dog's, you know, back to their old self, right? E-call is very transferable. So for example, if we're working with couples, partner number 1 will do all the hard work that first session. Then partner number 2 goes and it's like they don't have to do anything because it's so transferable. Because if you press the button at 50, the other person press the button at 50, it's the same thing. There's no like dad's stronger than mom or like, you know, dad's more than mom. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we keep it consistent. Got it.
Exactly. And everything's filmed. So his first exposure and we have like what's called the first explanatory sessions of his first week. You get to see how he took to the e-collar, how he worked him through, you know, his flightiness, because that's something we might see, because e-collar is a stressor. No one likes being disciplined. So what we might see is we might see him be a little flighty because he doesn't know what this is. He's going to get a little stressed. He's going to want to get away. You're going to see how we work him through it and how we get him over that hump, and you'll see a little bit more confidence in Jack. So everything is cool. If you're doing the 2 weeks, you get 2 1-hour videos, 1 hour of explanatory sessions. The next hour is doing the long leash phase, which means we do all the commands with a 30-foot long leash, right? Seeing that how well trained is he to be able to have all this freedom, right? And being able to make the choice to stay by our side instead of taking the 30-foot to somewhere else.
Come on.
But yeah, does it make sense?
For sure, man. Yeah, and then what's the? I mean, you can keep taking me through. I was just I want to talk before our time's up. Cost and dates, but I'll let you get us there if you have more you want to go through as far as the program itself.
Yeah. Another common question owners have is, how come when I take the e-collar, my dog goes back to pulling or back to barking or jumping or whatever, right? So do you drive on the highway?
Say that again.
Do you drive on the highway?
We do drive on the highway, yeah.
Do you go the speed limit?
Depends.
Okay, what happens if you're not going the speed limit, what happens when you and other drivers like notice a squad car?
We all slow down.
Exactly. So it's opportunistic behavior. It has nothing to do with the training, it has nothing to do with you guys practicing, it has nothing to do with the methods we use. It's just a nature thing. If we're able to get away with something, we're going to get away with it. So Jesse likes to call the e-collar a cop on a collar. You know, it's like, you know, the cop, you're gonna slow down or you're gonna behave. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally makes sense. Yeah, makes all the sense. Yeah. I mean, the concept makes total sense. I'm not opposed to it at all. I think it sounds great. I think it's for his safety and betterment, and it's, you know, it's I think it sounds super effective. So I'm all in. And I'm ready to, I think that 4-hour transfer session sounds great. And
I honestly, I am, we're, I've been a high school English teacher. We got 3 kids. I've kind of prided myself in being on the more like stubborn disciplinarian side as far as my ability to like stick to my things. It's just that I have literally not been able to give the time in a high rise of 3 kids in their jobs. So that's what I'm hoping for is you give the jump start, and then I'm absolutely able and willing to do the homework and follow up and be consistent with what you do.
Mhm.
It's the initial work plus the knowledge and learning that it takes for, I'm a new dog owner. So
Correct.
I just haven't been able to get myself there without compromising, sacrificing other things. So what I'm excited about this program is kind of like the heavy dose that you'll give them. And then I'll be excited to keep going with that, follow up with it. I'm very willing to do exactly what you do at the same level as you, and just, I'll keep it going. So not a problem there. So
Cool. So, program wise, so you were looking to board him and having him trained here for 2 weeks, you said.
so yeah, I leave on the 19th. And I'll be back on July 1st. So what I was hoping to do is give myself I would like to drop them off on the 17th, if that's possible. And then pick them up July 2nd, just because, just buffer on either side. Speaking of like success with him, I want to be able to like be present of mind and right away start off consistent. So if I'm correct with that, that's maybe just slightly, if I get my calendar out here, that's slightly, what is that? That's a day or 2 over. So yeah, so that is, yeah, I'm not sure if that's allowed or not, but that would be, I mean, the very most crunch would be like the 19th through the 1st, but that's really not feasible unless that was like, so yeah, my preference would be 17th through the 2nd.
Okay. Yeah. Owners, if you're not wanting, if you need him to stay here for 2 extra days, it'll be the 2-week board train plus regular boarding nights.
Okay, cool.
Or if you wanted those, 2 extra nights to be the board and train as well, you can do that. Personal preference, about that. But it has nothing. I mean, 2 extra days wouldn't make a big difference on the training. It's mostly like that first week and that second full week.
Yeah, I mostly just need that for convenience. So
Yeah.
what's the cost of the board and train for 2 weeks?
Let me see. After this consultation, I'll be sending you a follow-up email of everything we kind of talked about, all the programs, well, just the one program. And then the e-collar I recommend for Jack. How much does Jack weigh?
I think he's about 28 pounds.
And then how old is he again?
9 months. He was born September 30th. So what is that, 9-10 months, something like that.
Okay, so he's probably not going to grow that much more, right?
He's already kind of on the little bit bigger side for a Shiba. Have you worked with Shiba Inus before?
Yes. Usually, they're pretty like they're not big, but they're bigger than the small dogs,
Yeah, he's like an 18 to 25 pound male average. I think he's probably 28. He may get to 30, but that's pretty big for a Shiba. So I think he's about done growing. He might just fill out a little bit more. He still looks kind of adolescent. And
Okay.
So
I have here the 2 week is 27.50, 4 hours of follow up, and we're working them through the as soon as we open up to as soon as we close all day every day. But yeah, 2 week is 27.50, and then you get 4 hours of follow up. You need to purchase. We don't provide the e-collar. You need to purchase it. You can purchase it from us. We have some in stock right now, or I'll send you a link to the Amazon, so you can order it yourself and maybe fiddle around with it and then bring it when you need him to.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, send me a link. That'd be great. I mean, there are multiple companies that make them. Is that, or is there like a specific kind that you need?
It's a specific. It's the brand's called Dogtra.
It's called what?
Dogtra. Dogtra.
Dogtra. I'll look it up. Okay.
What else? Anything else?
No, I guess if I think of anything, I can email you. Yeah.
Yes. If any questions pop up, feel free to email me. But other than that, if for the follow-up, it'll be sent either today or tomorrow. Try to think if there's anything else. And then we do other things like taking them on training walks, like to Home Depot, PetSmart, stuff like that.
Okay.
If they're well trained here in the facility, well, that's good. But like we need to be, effective outside in the real world. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool.
And then for potty training, you want him to. For potty training, do you want him to learn how to pee or to not pee, but do his business on the grass, like the grass patch you have, since you're already working? Like puppy pads, or how did you want to go about it? Or potty pads?
So this is a good question. So right now, what I have is I'm using a company called Dogulon. It's real sod that they send us like once a month, but he digs that up. And it becomes more of a mess than the pee. So what I'm at, and then I don't like the potty pads. I think they just look like diapers sitting around. I would prefer like synthetic grass, like that kind of thing that you just rinse in the tub every couple of days or something like that. I would also be interested in him learning how to tap a bell or something like that at the door. I know that's probably a bit more intensive, but I mean, shoot, if he's tapping a bell and he's like, "Oh, I gotta pee," and I know, like, I could walk him down in the elevator 5 minutes back, that would be my ideal, one of those two or both. My ideal is that he can do both. That he's like, he could let us know, and then if we're not around or we can't or whatever, then he doesn't just do his business on the floor. He goes to the fake sod.
So
we just can't commit to, I can't commit to taking him 6 times a day downstairs on a weekend day or whatever. But, I take him out in the morning and evening, and that's about it. But if I'm around and he taps the bell, I don't know, maybe that's not consistent enough. So maybe that's not possible, because if I don't answer his call consistently, he may stop doing it, I'm guessing.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. So is he kennel trained? Crate trained?
Oh, very well. Yeah, I mean, we just now got done with the trip. I mean, I'm out here because he's right here.
He's just doesn't bark, nothing. He's just super chill. I mean, he prefers his. I mean, I'll leave the crate open at night. Kids are playing with him, and he goes off and does his own thing. He's not a barker. He's a very great temperament. I've never heard him growl even once at another dog or our kids. He's just a super, super full of life, chill dog. Just doesn't know the dangers of life around him. That's bottom line.
So real quick, potty training.
What's that?
I'm
sorry, I lost I can hear you. What's up?
Okay, so real quick, potty training. We'll put him on a schedule. So how potty training works is, like you said, if he's ringing that bell and let's say you're doing something and you don't hear it, well, he has to go. He's letting you know you're not listening. All right, well, I'm just gonna go right here.
Mm-hmm.
So if we teach the dog to let us know when he has to go, then he's going when he has to go or wants to go, right? Versus teaching him to hold it until the PM, right? And then we can let him go, right? He's 9 months.
Right.
So he can hold his, potty for 9 hours, right? So
Oh,
when
cool.
teaching that crate is going to be your best friend. So for example, like if we get like a 3-month-old puppy who's here for potty training, or 2 months, right? If they're not being supervised, they're in the crate. So every 2 hours they go potty. So breakfast. So we wake up, let's say 7. We open at 7. So the first thing they do is potty. We take him out to do the potty. We bring him back, feed them breakfast, give them some time there after eating their breakfast. Again, potty, and then that's when the schedule starts. So a 2 hour starts there. So every 2 hours they're being pottied. Now, if they have a potty mistake, let's say 30 minutes before the next outing, then we let them sit in the crate with their mistake and deal with it, because potty training has to have a negative and a positive for it to be learned or be effective, right? If there's no negative, so he's going when he wants and he's not getting, he's like, oh, whatever, it's over there, then he's not going to be learning, right? So if we put him on a schedule where teaching him, you have to hold it till the next outing. If you don't and you want to go in your crate, well, you're gonna have to sit and deal with it, because we're teaching him to hold it, right? So we can do 2 things. We can, do our regular potty training where it's like, every, we'll make a schedule for him, and after that time, we take him out. We can, if we're gonna put him to play with the other daycare dogs, he's only allowed to play once he's potty, and then 15 minutes in play, take him out again. That's when dogs usually have to potty again, 15 minutes of doing something where their body's moving, and then we can put him back to play. If you want us to teach him to potty on the synthetic grass or whatever you want to use, you would bring that for his board and train. And what we do is we train that, so instead of going outside, you need to go on this, grass or whatever you're deciding to choose on. Does that make sense?
I think that's probably more realistic, because what I don't want at this age, he's such a good dog. I don't want to just keep him in the kennel all day, and because also, like, we only go out morning and evening, so I'd rather have him, because like I said, he hasn't had any pooping accidents, unless we were late to take him out, or that's just not his fault, it's our fault. He clearly prefers to go outside. He can he's holding it and he's ready to go outside. He doesn't want to go inside. So that's cool. He's already there, I think. I would rather have him be able to have free rein around the house. He's already kind of done chewing on stuff. And then just go pee inside, because that's what we're doing now. And still, every time we go outside, he still pees, because it's like he wants to. It's like fun for him to go and pee on things. So it's like he's already doing both anyways. The only problem is he's not consistently peeing on the pads that we have. He'll still randomly pee on the hardwood floor somewhere, or he'll jump up on our kid's bed and pee on the bed. That's the thing that I'm trying to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
So I want him to have a space in the house that he knows, oh, that's where I go, I gotta pee.
Okay.
Also, I'm gonna get him neutered soon. I'm not sure if that'll help with him marking territory and stuff like that. I don't know.
That will help, yeah. Like I said, you're gonna want to use that crate. That crate's gonna be your best friend, because if no one's supervising him, he goes up to the kids room and he pees, well then he got away with it, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? Because it's the fault of the owners.
Right.
Oh, you can't really have both. I mean, you can see what the neuter, it could stop just the random urinating in the house, but you need to do the crate to make the process faster, because we're going to be doing it here anyways. That if we're letting him live in a playpen, or not live, but stay in a playpen, and if he goes on the playpen and not the grass, then that's our error, right? Versus, because then he can just move away from it, so he just doesn't avoid it, right? So our crates don't have blankets, they don't have beds, they don't have a potty. pads or anything like that. It's just a regular tray. So if he pees on it, it's going to be there. It's not being soaked up or anything, and he's gonna have to deal with this. So that's the negative. He's like, okay, I don't want to make a mistake, you know. Then it's teaching him to hold it until his next outing, right? Which is, you know, bringing him to the whatever the synthetic grass you're using. Does that make sense?
Okay, so guys, so basically, I should be walking him to the grass for pee time as well as to actual outings outside. So I should take him outside in the morning, take him outside at night, but at some point in the afternoon, he should be being walked. So what we do now is just kind of, this is what he does very consistently. We have a pee pad and sod in the kitchen. 90% of the time he walks over there and just pees whenever he's got to pee and we give him a treat. 90% of the time he does it. Mm-hmm. There's just the occasional time he doesn't. So already I feel like that's been his rhythm. He goes and pees pretty consistently on the pads or the synthetic grass. Mm-hmm. But there's just this chance he still could jump up on the couch or jump up on one of the kids' beds or just like randomly in front of a door just pee. So, I mean, what do you recommend there? I mean, I guess.
Do you give him water like freely? Like there's always a bowl of water filled for him?
Yeah, I've been lessening that for that reason. But yeah, I usually, should I have him on a schedule when he gets water?
Yeah, mealtime, or if there's been exercise, that's when he gets water. We do it ounce per pound, right? For the day. So if you notice that he's peeing a lot and it's clear, he's probably overhydrated. If it's dark, he's probably, you know, just marking or something like that, or he had to go in and no one. But that is something we can work on and cover in this day. Potty training. Just make sure that you want to keep it, you know, where you go in this area on this grass, and then that's, you know, you get the treat. Well, we do all that stuff too. So you probably have to bring that with that we can you, right?
I'll bring that with. Right now, I'm gonna get rid of the synthetic. I'm gonna get rid of the real grass just because it's just more of a mess than it's worth. I'm gonna bring like a synthetic grass, something or other.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Any other questions or anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, so if anything pops up, let me know. Keep an eye out for that follow-up email. And then it'll be like, sign this form, right? Once the form is signed, then we can begin billing and booking.
Okay, I mean, is there any chance those dates won't work? Or is that like, from what can you tell me now that those dates do work? The 17th through the 2nd of July?
I can't tell you now. I can include that in the follow-up email to you. But I mean, I mean, we only have, we only take 4 at a time. But we don't, I mean, from what I'm seeing right now, like these restrictions here are only here for 2 weeks. So, I mean, by then, most of them should be gone, and we don't have 4 right now.
I did tell.
We're expecting.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Well, I told Kim that the main focus for me right now, because I've already got these tickets booked, is to find a boarding and training that would work with the dates that I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And so she said that there wouldn't be a way for me to know. I'll just say that that's the main thing I need to know soon. So send me whatever you need to send me, and I'll fill it out ASAP. That way I'm locked in for those dates. That's the most important thing, because if you tell me the training sounds great, I'm all on. But if you tell me it's a different date, then I'm gonna have to call and do this with another company because I gotta have a spot for those 2 dates, or those 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because I just don't have anywhere else to go. So I'd prefer not to board him 2 weeks random boarding, and then when I get back, have him another 2. You know what I mean? I'm trying to consolidate it for his own, like, that's a lot of time unnecessarily. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it makes sense. So I'll include that in my follow-up email.
cool.
I'm like pretty sure you'll be fine.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Anything else?
I think that's it, man.
Cool.
Yeah, on my end.
Nice speaking with you.
Likewise, Enrique.
Keep an eye out for that follow-up email, and then enjoy the rest of Nashville, right?
Nashville. Yeah, thanks for your time. And if there's anything else, yeah, we can email about it. So
Awesome. Have a good night.
you too. Bye.